Diablo IV had a massive wave of hype during its release because it was the first new installment of the game's franchise in over a decade. However, as someone who has never really dived into a proper action RPG like the Diablo franchise, I really didn't understand what the hype was all about. So due to a little peer pressure and the need for a new game to play with my friends, I picked up Diablo IV and immediately got hooked. There are 25 trophies you need to unlock in Diablo IV in order to get the Platinum Trophy, but don't let that fool you because there are a few trophies that are an absolute grind. I started off playing a Sorcerer, a ranged spellcasting class, and it wasn't long before I unlocked my first trophy, Master of the Elements, for killing 100 enemies with spells as a Sorcerer. And it wasn't long after that I earned 3 more trophies for killing a bunch of different mob types in the game. Legion Killer for killing 666 demons, Turned for killing 666 vampires, and Undead Undone for killing 666 zombies. I was having a great time. But since there are some other classes that have class-related achievements, I decided it was time to try out the Rogue for a little bit, which I honestly enjoyed quite a bit because of its fast hit-and-run playstyle. It kind of reminded me of playing a dexterity build in Elden Ring. So it wasn't long before I unlocked the Rogue's class-specific trophy that you get for killing 50 enemies in melee range and 50 enemies outside of melee range to unlock the In and Out trophy. After that, I pushed further into the campaign and unlocked Tortured Souls for killing 666 bandits. The lore and the story of this game was pretty amazing. Basically, thousands of years ago, Lilith and an angel named Inarius created the realm of Sanctuary where this Diablo game takes place, as sort of a refuge for those who wish to escape the eternal war between heaven and hell. Then, due to her relationship with Inarius, a new race was born that was neither angel nor demon, but displayed attributes of both at the same time. Anyways, as you come into the picture, following the events of Diablo III, where the armies of heaven and hell have been depleted, leaving a power gap that allows Lilith to return to the world and establish a base of power in Sanctuary. Once again, you have to stop her. Which is pretty badass, and was amazing to reflect on as I unlocked my 7th trophy, Emancipation, for completing the campaign. Now, honestly, at this point, I wasn't really planning on getting the Platinum for this game when I started playing it. However, since I was still enjoying myself, I decided it was worth investing some more time into the game to get the Platinum Trophy. However, that was until I made a big mistake. You see, about this time is when Season 2 was just kicking off, so I decided to try out yet another class so I could get their class-related trophy, and I like the idea of starting fresh on a new character to grind out the Devoted Protector trophy for reaching level 100 with any character. But my biggest mistake of this entire grind was at this moment, when I committed myself to doing this on a druid. But it wasn't all that bad from the start necessarily. Soon after starting off my druid, I unlocked the Exterminator trophy for killing 666 spiders or snakes in the game, before finally getting into some of the world bosses for the first time and getting my first world boss kill. I unlocked the Worldly Slayer trophy. After a bit more time on the druid, I was feeling okay about my decision, but I definitely was not enjoying it as much as I was the sorcerer and the rogue in comparison. It felt slow as hell, and I was doing far less damage than I would have been doing if I was playing one of the other classes in the game. However, my chat tried their best to keep me hyped by saying the druid would only get better as time went on, so I just buckled down and kept grinding. I eventually checked out a pulverizer build guide, which was pretty fun, but I still felt slow. So once I hit level 50 and snagged the Dedicated Protector trophy for doing so, I switched up my build to a Stormclaw build since respecking was pretty easy, since I had a massive amount of gold just laying around that I didn't know what to do with, which in hindsight seems a bit odd, and I probably should have been doing something more meaningful with it along the way. If you have suggestions, let me know down in the comments. But you know how I said playing a druid was a big mistake? Yeah, well, post level 50 is where I felt the most pain from this decision, that I turned what I thought would be a fun platinum trophy to get into something that would just make my life a living hell. I mean, I could have just quit and went back to a different class, but for some reason my brain decided to turn my dislike of a class and its playstyle into a challenge that I couldn't back down from. almost like if I couldn't get level 100 as a druid, I was bad at the game. But that might explain why I like Souls games so much. Anyways, while I was leveling up, though, I finally got the Shifty Swipes trophy for killing 50 enemies as both Werebear and Werewolf. But after a dozen of hours of grinding dungeons, I needed a break from the Druid. So I decided to go grab another class-related achievement on the Necromancer, which was honestly pretty quick because all I had to do was summon 100 skeleton mages or warriors to get the Army of Bones trophy before heading back to the Druid grind towards unlocking Devoted Protector for reaching level 100. This time though, I decided it would be a smart idea to start chasing down some of the other trophies I was still missing to break up the grind to level 100. So first I went and snagged the Potent Altercations trophy for upgrading a piece of armor, jewelry, and a weapon. Now don't ask me why it took me this long to unlock this specific trophy, but after that, I then went and completed both a Sacred and Ancestral Nightmare Dungeon for the Living Nightmares trophy. Sacred Nightmare Dungeons are basically a lower tiered Nightmare Dungeon you start off in, and the Ancestral Nightmare Dungeons are the higher tiered ones where you can really get stomped if you're not careful. And honestly, I'll be happy if I never run another Nightmare Dungeon again at this point. They are great for leveling, so I just spam them constantly, the same ones over and over and over again on a freaking druid of all things. Anyways, in between running the Nightmare Dungeons, I was able to go chase down a few more trophies like Covenant Crafts for crafting my first elixir and incense. Then Turning Tides for collecting 1,000 cinders in Helltide zones. The cinder is important because it's actually the currency you have to use to unlock tortured chests you find for loot. Then I got First Aid for upgrading my healing potion to max tier. And after that, Curious Collector for imprinting 10 items at the Occultist with an aspect from the Codex of Power. Wow, that was a mouthful. After that, I decided I needed to get the Master Combatant trophy out of the way and managed to get myself 5 kills in PvP to unlock it. Thankfully, it didn't take too long for this one because I was definitely not interested in or like having to grind multiplayer trophies at all. I was getting close to reaching level 100 at this point and needed another break from grinding Nightmare Dungeons when I decided to go and try to get another trophy for exploring all of the map when I realized something that I didn't even know was really bothering me. Diablo IV doesn't really do a great job at explaining most of the game to you. I had no idea how imprinting really worked or why it was important. Hell, I didn't even know it was a thing until my Twitch chat explained it to me. In fact, I would probably still be trying to get this damn platinum if I didn't finally break down and start looking up more guides on the game just so I could understand stuff that you figure a game developer would want to make sure the players of their game understood. Granted, maybe they don't really give a damn about players new to their series, instead just focus on pleasing the hardcore crowd in this game. Oh, look at that, another trophy. Esterar Sightseer got the trophy. Let's go, brother! But before I knew it, the glorious, wonderful, absolutely fantastic day came where I finally hit level 100 and earned the trophy, Devoted Protector. Ooh, Devoted Protector, let's go. Trophy, level 100. And then after that, I went and grabbed one more trophy by opening up 10 Cache of Chaos crates from the Tree of Whispers to get Chaotic Whispers. I should not have waited until the end to do this one because these caches are things you get randomly. You do events and dungeons around the world map to earn Whispers and hand those Whispers into the Tree of Whispers, and the tree gives you 3 different caches to pick from. And a Chaos cache is only one of the options once out of every 3 times about. Sometimes you might get lucky and have it show up 2 times in a row, but it never happened for me. So word of advice, if you're going to get the platinum trophy for this game, work on this one early on. Oh man, I thought I was done there for a minute, but then I realized I would still need to beat Uber Lillith with my druid for another trophy. So in my wise and intelligent ways of thinking, I decided before fighting her, I would go and get my first hardcore character to level 50. Of course, my dumbass took a barbarian because I still needed the class-specific trophy for killing 50 enemies while in berserker mode. Hammer down! Oh, I got the trophy already. I got the barb trophy. Let's go, that was easy. But it wasn't long after that when something bad happened. I was stupid, alright? I went into a dungeon and I got into a boss fight while talking to my Twitch chat instead of paying attention, and before I knew it, my health was gone, and my hardcore barbarian was dead. I'm gonna die. Oh, I'm gonna die, no! At this point, I actually thought that I might just quit. I was done, sick of it, over it. This is stupid. I did not want to start over. So I abandoned the idea for a hardcore character for a while and turned my attention back to Uber Lillith. I wanted to get Uber Lillith out of the way because I wanted to get the druid out of the way. So I teamed up with a friend of mine and was able to defeat her in a handful of tries. I will say though that this boss fight was a bit funner than a regular dungeon boss fight. She actually had mechanics that you had to think about, and she could one-shot you. We died a few times because we were not on the same page, and I was still learning the mechanics. But I did it. I beat Uber Lillith and earned the trophy, End of the First Mother. With that out of the way, now all I had left to do was to finally get a hardcore character to level 50, and the platinum would finally be mine. This time I was smart though. I went back to playing the Sorcerer, my first class I ever tried, which I arguably should never have rolled off of, and dove into hardcore mode once again. With a ball lightning build, I was back to just melting mobs and enjoying the game again. I almost had forgotten what a chore it had been to grind my druid all the way to level 100 when it happened. I got my hardcore character to level 50. Let's go! Let's get the platinum! Arise, champion! The true perseverance, and shortly after that came the cherry on top. Arise, champion! The platinum trophy! Let's go! Having never dived into an ARPG like this, the platinum for Diablo IV honestly just hit different. Don't get me wrong, it felt fantastic, but the entire grind was an experience I had never had before, so it just felt more unique than some of the other ones I've gotten. If you guys enjoyed this video, you should go check out my Lies of P video before you go. I also live stream all my platinum grinds over on Twitch if you want to check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.